Hello and welcome, Equestria Daily listeners. I'm still Serial Velocity, and today I have with me PK as my co-host. Say hi, PK.
Hi, PK.
And today we have the queen of the bronies herself, Miss Tara Strong. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Freaking fantastic.
Yeah, doing
Freaking
pretty good.
fantastic.
We're
Good.
gonna throw some questions at you.
No,
Yes, we
just
have you
ask
going.
nicely. Don't throw.
How about we just toss them at you?
All right, fine.
Okay.
All right. So, there was a con recently. I don't know if you noticed. I think you were
There
there.
was?
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide to go to this convention full of crazy people who want your signature on things?
First of all, how could I not go to BronyCon? They're my favorite fan base in the entire world ever of my entire career. So,
Oh.
I mean, once the arrangements were solidified and it was able for me to go, it wasn't a question if I wanted to go or not. And then, of course, once Delancey and Lauren were in, they were going to shoot some stuff that made it even more essential for me to be there. But it wasn't like, uh, you know, that wasn't the deciding factor, really. I wanted to go the second I heard there was going to be a BronyCon in the first place.
So, yeah, like, as soon as the documentary started up, you jumped on that too. What was your deciding factor there?
Well, I met Delancey at the Calgary convention. I think it's called Emerald City
Hmm.
Con. And I met him in the green room. They had a really nice green room for all the actors there. And I had been a fan of his. My sister was a huge Q fan. So she forced me to watch him years ago. And I went over and introduced myself just as a fan. And I said, I'm Tara Strong. Nice to meet you. He said, You're Tara Strong? Sit down for a second. Explain to me the bronies. Like, explain to me your. So I guess he knew, like, that I was sort of in that world. And so I told him my perception of this amazing fandom. And I said, John, you should come with me to my brony panel. And he said, oh, no, no, no. And I said, oh, yes, 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 yes. You should come. And initially he didn't really want to because I think he just didn't want to step on my toes. I said, they will love it so much. So come on. So he sort of hid in the back and then someone asked a Discord question. And I'm sure you've all seen it on YouTube. I said, I don't know, but he might be here. And then everyone turned around and Delancey like walked to the front and they were applauding him. And he was just so blown away. And I think he'd already been introduced to the fandom because of the insane amount of fan mail he got for this cartoon. And so his friends had approached him about doing this documentary, and then it was just a matter of time of him trying to find me. But once they put it out there, I was like, of course I'm in. I mean, it's just amazing. I've never seen, I say this at every panel, so I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing it, but it really is the best fan base ever. It's just that simple. There's nobody can touch you guys. I mean, like I've said before too, this around the same time that I recorded Twilight Licious, I did Raven Licious, Ben 10 Licious, Bubble Licious. I think I did an Omi Licious, and Twilight's the only one that got our own YouTube video. And I mean, when I went to BronyCon and everyone was singing it to me, it was just mind blowing. I was like, oh, I just love you guys. How many people can actually say they have millions of people in their army worldwide who wouldn't hurt a fly? Only me. I have an army of millions worldwide that wouldn't hurt anyone. That's why they're the best army. Yeah, so bronies, they're the best. I mean, they're so supportive and sweet and kind and lovely. And when people ask me about them, I love bragging about them. And I'm sure you saw how we kidnapped a fan from the airplane. I happened to be sitting next to two guys who
Oh.
I knew them from. It was so weird. I just happened to be sitting next to a friend of mine's nephews, and so he's asking me where I'm going and why I had pink and purple hair. I was explaining it to him, and he's like, "What's a brony?" And Tom had already seen me walk in. He's like, "Oh my God, you're Tara Strong." And I said, "That's a brony." And he was wearing a pony T-shirt, and he was explaining his perception, and he was just so sweet. And I just think that's something that people who are judgmental miss is that it's such a non-judgmental, sweet, accepting community, and therefore should be accepted by everyone. And I just, oh my God, I have no patience for the haters, for the people that don't get it. It makes me a little crazy.
They will always exist,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I know. It's true. It's not just for this fandom, it's anything, but
Hmm.
it's just
Yeah.
silly. Doesn't I don't know, my brain doesn't comprehend that really.
Yeah. So, what did you expect going into BronyCon? How did your expectations match up to what actually happened there?
Well, I brought my girlfriend Kelly to help me with the Kiki merchandise. And when we walked up to the convention center and everyone was screaming for me, she's like, "Oh my God, I just got chills." Because she sees me as a mom at school that I can walk into school and nobody bothers me. And she was like, "Oh my God, who are you all of a sudden?" And like I said, just because they are the most verbal and sweet and supportive fandom, then I don't know, it's more than I expected just because of the overwhelming sense of welcoming and love and appreciation. I mean, it's unexpected and overwhelming and lovely and delicious and licious and I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it surprised me. And like I also said before, I've never been to any party. I always get asked to go to raves and parties and I just wanted to party with everyone and I got on stage and I just meant to say hi to everyone and then I just stayed up there. And everyone's like, she must be drunk, but I wasn't. I was just having so much fun. Insanely fun. And Megan and I are both moms of two, so we're like, we never stay out dancing till 2 in the morning. We're like, we're teenagers again. It was just fun. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. Because typically I don't just sit there and sign autographs if anyone has been in my line. I'm always friendly and talking to people and as much as trying to get the line through so that everyone waiting gets a turn. Like I'm on the whole time. So it's not like I'm just phoning it in. I really want the people that have been waiting that long to get a little, time with me. And so typically by the end, I'm exhausted. But this time I was just elated and overwhelmed and happy. There was like a happiness. And even though there was like a fire at BronyCon, it was like just the most successful, fantastic event ever. And meeting the fans was amazing. It's so fun because I met so many people that I've been talking to on Twitter and, people are like, oh, I'm this person and I'm that person. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. It's so fun to meet everyone who, retweets my cuckoo-ness. It's just fun.
And what was your favorite moment at BronyCon?
Mm, I have to say, I surprised the army guys, and I slapped them all with some Twilight Licious bracelets, and they got that on tape, and it was fun. And then one of the army guys came by so that was probably my favorite moment being in there with them. And then one of the guys came over to thank me for visiting, and they told me there was only going to be 25 army bronies, and there were 60,
Oh,
so I didn't
Oh,
wow.
have enough
yikes.
bracelets for everyone. Yeah, so he said just thanks for stopping by. It was so nice. And I said, did you get slapped? And he said no, and I went whoosh, and I slapped him really hard. I matched the bracelets. And he said, thank you so much. I'm going to love this in Afghanistan. And it was like, wow, it was such a real moment there where these guys are putting their lives on the line and, loving something that makes them feel good. And sort of being a part of that was a special moment for me because that's something I've certainly never experienced anything close to.
That is so cool.
That is really, really
Did you?
cool.
I saw Nicole Oliver and some of the others walking around the artist fella. Did you get any cool swag?
I didn't get a chance to do that. I was really swamped the whole time. I would have liked to, although people, brought me stuff mostly because I insist on presents and yell at people. And if I say like, "Oh my gosh, I love this!" Like there was a really cool poster of Faustlicious and Taralicious, so I got one of those. And like the art that people made that I'm like, "Wow, that's awesome." Usually someone will come bring it to me. There was an artist that did a really good human Twilight painting. I'm forgetting his name, but I said I loved it. And so like 10 minutes later, he came by with it. So even if I don't get the chance to walk the floor, usually people bring me stuff that's pretty cool to see. So that's, just as good, especially if someone wants me to have it. That's nice.
So, as the hub has been ramping up the marketing and sending you to all these events, how's it been just traveling around and seeing all these different pony events?
It's like I said before, it's always surprising and always fun and always exciting and always rewarding. They never let me down, those bronies. They never let me down. It's just fun. I mean, in that event that we did on Melrose and we got to see some of the art, that's the thing that's amazing about this community is all the artwork it's inspired and the music it's inspired. And it's so much and it's so darn good. Like, I see stuff and I'm like, what the heck? I can't draw the unicorn horn. It's like, come to me with these amazing drawings that are just it's such a talented community. And people say, oh, I drew this in line for you to sign. I'm like, you what? You drew that in line? I could take 3 days and not get anywhere. It's just, I mean, I'll never forget once I did a episode of Rugrats, and this guy who worked on the show drew like a hilarious picture of Baby Dill getting high and smoking and drinking crazy stuff. And he did it in like 2 minutes, but it was such a good drawing on top of being funny. And I just looked at him and I said, "How do you do that?" And he said, "How do you do what you do?" And I went, "Okay." That's just... So one of the skill sets of a lot of these fans is really to be so talented artistically, and it's nice to be a part of it and inspire art. I mean, there's some great Twilightlicious art out there.
The one you're using as the background on your Twitter, I told the artist that you were using, and he just fainted.
Yeah.
Yes,
it was
he's come
hilarious.
out a couple times and he's always so sweet. I mean, the other thing is too, it's like it's not like I say, "Hey guys, I want a Terralicious pony," and I gotta wait 6 months if I was going through like some, company that I was trying to get some artwork for. I go, Twilight Fart Sparkles, and 2 minutes later I've got a drawing of it, Everyone like jumps on it so fast. It's like a contest to see who's first, and it's always makes me laugh. I do have a lot of followers on Twitter, and I don't see every single thing that people post, and I don't want to disappoint people if I miss something, but every chance I get, I look at the artwork and try to listen to the music and the comments, and it's pretty hilarious. I mean, I don't know if you heard this morning about my badonkadonk,
I must have missed that. What
but
happened?
someone
missed
made
out.
a song called Tara Strong has I don't know, a nice badonkadonk or something like that, and then
No
I don't know,
way.
it was really crazy. Oh yeah, and I don't know. And then the Living Tombstone made a comment about it, and then he said something in Hebrew, and then I answered him in Hebrew. It's like one thing sort of snowballs into something else, and it's just crazy.
All right. So, what made you want to do all these crazy voices? What got you started?
I always did voices as a kid, and I'm sure we all do, and you see kids doing them. But I knew when I was 5 that I wanted to be an actress and a singer and a dancer, so that was already in me. And then young Tara and her sister Marla would do funny radio stations, and I bet if you bug Marla on Facebook, Marla Cherendoff is her name, she'll try to find some old files of a radio station we created called CDUMB. And it was just the dumbest, craziest voices and stupidest accents and things we could come up with. And then, I made a voice for my bunny rabbit, and I used to go, "I like Tara so much more than you, Marla." And I'd be like the talking bunny, and every toy had a voice. And I used to go into stores with my mom and say, "Let's pretend we're from England and let's do that." And so I always had that in me to mimic. And, most voiceover performers or singers, you have to have a good ear to be able to mimic sounds and voice, roles that are celebrity sound-alikes and things like that. So I would say that a lot of what brought me to where I am today is definitely by nature. And then my first job was Hello Kitty, and I didn't realize that cartoon voicing was a career. It just happened to be another audition that my agent had sent me out on, and I booked it. And really, since Hello Kitty, the rest is history.
So, I'm just a tiniest bit disappointed that you don't do Twilight's singing voice. Can you sing?
I of course I sing. My favorite thing to do is to sing, and I my biggest singing role was the Mermaid sequel, and I got to sing with Jodie Benson. I'm disappointed too. Part of the problem is that they're in Vancouver and I'm here, and the music people are so fantastic, and it's challenging to fly back and forth. And initially they came to do the theme song with me, and I had been so swamped. I didn't get the music till a day or two before, and I had really not a lot of time. And I figured everybody knows the theme song to My Little Pony. I'll be fine. And I got in the studio and it was like, My Little Pony, da 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 da. I was like, holy, what's going on? It's just like, oh gosh. And I felt terrible because they flew out to be with me, and I think that was sort of a defining moment in terms of if I'm not in Vancouver and able to be there with them, it's too challenging. But creatively, it makes me sad. Like when I saw the wedding episode, I'm like, oh, I really would have liked to do that. Because, like I said, singing is my favorite thing. So I don't know. I might talk to them and say, when it's a real character based show, I'd love to do my own stuff. But I do. Initially they wanted me to fly back and forth to Vancouver. And if I didn't have my kids, it would be, of course, I'll come back and forth. But I'm one of those moms that miss my kids when they go to school. So it's really hard for me to be apart from them, and I couldn't make that commitment to go back and forth. So it's really more of a location thing than anything else. And certainly when you're singing, with other people and doing harmony, it's just so much easier for them to be together. So that's the only downfall of me being apart. It's one of the downfalls of me being apart from the other cast members.
Well, if you do get a singing role, will you tell us so we can just
Yeah.
Of course,
so can
yeah.
plug the
I'd
hell out
really
of it?
like
Like she's
to.
singing here, go listen to it.
Yeah, I'd really like to. I was just speaking to McCarthy about it. I said, creatively, when she's singing, I'd love for it to be me. And so I asked her if I should write to so and so. She's like, yes, but so and so's not there anymore. So write to so and so. Okay, I'll try and figure it out. I'm sure I'll try. I will make an attempt to try because not just because I like to sing, but I see like the fans love the song so much. And I'm sure it'd be fun for them to know that it's actually Twy.
After all these years of doing all these different voices, is it still just as fun to go into the studio and record an episode as it ever was?
Oh God, yeah. Every time I book something, I jump up and down and scream. And you'll hear that from anyone that does voiceovers. We're so happy to be doing what we do and get paid to act silly. And it doesn't matter what you look like. Of course, the day you look crappy, they're like, "Oh, we forgot to tell you Access Hollywood was coming today." Oh, great, thanks. Um, but and you get to play so many different roles that you wouldn't normally get to play. I mean, for me to be able to be a baby and a 10-year-old boy and all these crazy roles that on camera I certainly wouldn't get the opportunity to play. Uh, every time I get a job, every time I'm excited. I can't even. It's like it surprises me that anyone even asks that because of how much we love it so much, and we feel so grateful to be getting paid to do something that we love so much.
I don't know. I guess that's just a natural question, seeing as your repertoire is enormous.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah, no, I
people.
hear that question all the time. And if you ask any voiceover performer, I guarantee you'll get the same response. We're so excited. We're so happy. I mean, and there are a lot of amazing, talented people that never get a break and never get a shot. And for whatever reason, the timing of the careers that make it and the talent level and just everything is so much is about timing. And certainly the talent level is something that I think should be addressed because so many people say, I want to do cartoons and I want to get into voiceover. And it's part of the reason we created Voice Stars because you can literally sit at your computer and pop in our CD into your computer. It's voicestarswithz.com and see if you really have what it takes because it's not an industry that opens its doors to everyone. It's not an industry that says, yeah, come on, give it a try. The studios are several $100s an hour. If they're going to get someone that's nervous or scared or that's not going to deliver, then it blows the whole schedule for all the other people. And I started directing a couple years ago, and I really see why the people that work a lot work a lot. That is their gift. That's what they're here to do. And then there's tons of sort of mediocre talent, and then there's like a sad amount of terrible people that think, oh, I can do this and come in and sort of ruin their chances because unless you're ready and at the top of your game, you don't want to make a demo tape. You don't want to go in there unless you're really feeling like I'm ready, you know?
Was your demo tape? I mean, when you look back on that, did you think it was good?
Well, yeah, because for me, because I started so young, I was so lucky that my tape was made up of jobs. Like I didn't go into a studio and say, here's voice A, here's voice B, here's voice C. All of my demo tapes have been from clips of work that I got to do. I mean, I'm so fortunate that I started so young.
Oh, so
That
you
was a
have you
great
had a
thing.
good portfolio then.
Yeah, and like I said, my demo was clips of stuff that I had already done. So it was recognizable. And now I don't even have a demo. If a production company that's never done animation or they typically do on camera, they say, "Oh, can we get a demo?" I go, like, go like me up, fo. I don't
Pick
have
any
cameras.
animated American cartoon in the
Yeah,
last 10 years. That's my demo tape.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. So, what's the environment like when you record? Like, how does recording a role take place?
Well, for My Little Pony, I'm by myself because I'm here. So I'm just myself in a studio with an engineer. We are I stand phone patch to the studio in Vancouver. Some shows I do with a full cast, typically with a game, video games, you're by yourself. But an animated show like Teen Titans, Powerpuff Girls, Fairly Odd Parents, it's a full record. So if you can envision a large studio and all these crazy, funny people doing all these wacky voices and playing off each other and improvising a little bit here and there and making jokes out of their lines and being silly and sometimes being dirty and sometimes, it's the most fun you could ever have, really.
So yeah, after all these voices, which one was your favorite?
Oh gosh, everyone asks me all the time
And
that
don't say
question.
Twilight just to appease us. Like, what was really your favorite?
No, really, my favorite was doing the Little Mermaid sequel because I don't know what little girl didn't want to be the Little Mermaid. And by the way, I also had ponies as a little girl, but my big dream was to be Ariel. And I still, in my bedroom, in my childhood bedroom, have a huge poster on the wall of My Little Mermaid, sorry, of the Little Mermaid.
Artists, get on it.
My Little Mermaid. Sea ponies are magic.
Well, if they do My Little Mermaid, it has to be Melody because Melody was her daughter, and it was shortly after I moved to town. I booked it, and the first time I met Jodie Benson, I burst into tears, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm just like, "I've just loved you for so long," and I got to sing with her and look at her singing, and singing with her was so surreal. So I could have died after that job. So that's always goes down as my very favorite. And then after that, it's impossible to pick to be Batgirl and Timmy Turner and of course Twilight Sparkle and Raven and Harley. I mean, these Powerpuff Girls, the roles that I've got in my lifetime are so incredible. I've just been so blessed that it would be completely impossible to pick an absolute favorite after Melody. I mean,
How did you get the role of Twilight Sparkle? How did you end up working for Friendship is Magic?
well, you know that woman Lauren Faust.
Hmm.
Oh, her.
Maybe
You
you've
know.
heard her. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think like rings a bell.
Okay. So Miss Faust and I worked together on Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home, and she called me up and asked if I liked My Little Pony growing up, and I'm like, yes. That's another thing on Marla page. She's with some of our ponies, but also I grew up in a toy store, so I had sticker collections and all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, so she came over, and I knew it was her dream to bring My Little Pony to life. One of the reasons it's so fantastic is it's everything in her imagination since she was a little girl come to life. And Lauren's so gifted at making things that are girl centric fantastic and appealing to all sexes and all ages. And it's her vision that's made this show have an international fandom with all ages, like I said, all sexes, like nothing. I mean, it's her vision that really kickstarted everything being so successful and fantastic. And she came over with drawings of Equestria and Canterlot and the ponies, and I was like, oh my God! Like I saw her first drawings and sketches, and they were so beautiful and magical. It blew me away, and I've seen her art for years and years. I have a Galaxy Girl in my house, and it blew my mind. It was just this whole world that she created was incredible. And she said, "Would you help me with this pilot presentation?" And she said, I'd like for you to record the script." And I went into the studio, which I'm sitting in right now, and I recorded Twilight, and I think it was Applejack and Pinkie Pie for her for a pitch presentation. And I think initially she thought I'd be a good Pinkie Pie because it was sort of bubblesy. But once she heard my Twilight, she was like, "Oh my God, she's Twilight." And that's how it all started, was literally her coming to my house and saying, "Will you do this?" And us making this presentation that thankfully the hub and Hasbro were really like, "Yeah, we love this." And then sort of letting her steer that ship and go in the direction of not just appealing to little girls and not making it too, cutesy, and having enough adult humor and enough heart in it that everybody gets to relish in. Her brain is just, I don't know, it's such an honor to be a part of it, and how it all went down was pretty fantastic.
I know, like, how does it feel to get to help someone realize their childhood dream like that?
Talk about one of my favorite moments at BronyCon. She is so modest. And when we first started talking to her about BronyCon, and I've been trying to get her on Twitter for a while, as you know, I finally succeeded.
Flood the Twitters.
I said, that everyone really credits you with this genius and loves you so much. And she was surprised. She didn't know. And she's like, "Really, Tara? Really? Because I just don't know if anyone appreciates my stuff." And she didn't know that everyone loved her. And then when she got on stage at BronyCon and people were cheering for her and she started to cry, I don't know if you saw that moment, but to me, I was so happy to be beside her for that moment. What a great moment for her to have realized her dream and realized how much it's affected so many people all over the world. That was another favorite moment of mine for sure. You can't fake that,
Yeah.
No.
Like, that's
That
just-
was incredible.
Yeah.
That's made this whole trip worth it.
It did. Just
Yeah.
seeing the reactions from everyone that actually works on the show, and it was.
Well, and I think too, when you see stuff like that, you realize that nothing's forced. Nobody's like doing it to be famous, or no one's acting to get anything. Like, it's so genuine, which is why it translates. And her love for the show is so genuine, which is why it's so beautiful. And our love for the fandom, all of the cast, is why it's so, gigantic group hug. It's just because it's all so real.
Back to Twilight. So as recording has continued and gone on through all these seasons, I heard you made another one, by the way. So we'll get to that later. So as it's gone on, have you? So you had this initial vision for Twilight, I would assume. So as time has gone on, have you added any flourishes or extra touches? Have you tried to push the character in a specific direction?
No, not personally, because the writing on the show's so good. Megan McCarthy is she's amazing. She'll say to me, "I'm really excited about this. I'm not excited about this, but this one the fans are gonna go, oh yeah, thank you." She's like, she's so good, and she gets the fandom so much, and she is such a magical, fantastic writer. She's on Twitter too, by the way, which of course I forced her to do. And it's not for me to sort of guide based on how the show's doing or based on the fandom. It's really based on Twi and her journey and all the things that she learns throughout the series and her character arc and the way it sort of goes organically. And I just, put my own spin on it in terms of the acting, but I haven't been responsible for guiding the storylines at all.
I think I appreciate that, but because I think that the vast majority of people would just prefer, straight and level, like what you're doing, what everybody's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I go, oh, the bronies like it. Let me do this now. Oh, if we sell more toys, let me do this now. No,
Yeah.
the reason why the show translates is because it's organic and real, and we are those characters in those moments. So often people say to me, oh, I really want to do cartoons. People say I have a good voice. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's not about having a cuckoo voice. It's about bringing these characters to life with your acting. And so when I'm doing a character in my mind, I'm picturing those moments. When I'm in the studio doing Twilight Sparkle, I'm picturing myself in her, shoes, in her, just picturing where she is and how she feels and what she's doing. And it's not uncommon for a voice actor to cry in a sad moment or, not be able to stop laughing in a funny moment because we're really in all those moments. And like I said, the writers have to have major, major kudos, particularly in this show.
I think it's safe to say that you guys just putting all this energy into this has really made this show come to life, and it wouldn't be the same without you.
Twilight is consistently voted as the fan favorite character in polls. What do you think it is about her character that draws so many people to her, and how does that make you feel?
Well, let's start with something that makes me feel really good. Because every time I see one of those, I do a little woo. And I think it's so much fun. I I guess maybe because she really does carry the show, and she typically has so much responsibility in each episode to sort of guide it. And I think because she's so genuine and funny and to be, you know, so adorkable and there's so many elements to her that I think people really are drawn to, and there's a lot of depth to her character, and I don't know, I think it just sort of goes along with everything else I've said in terms of who I am and who she is and the writing, and I think her character design's so cute. I mean, they're all fantastic, but I don't know, there's just something, really magical and special about her, and she brings something out of people that, including myself, that's sort of indescribable. Like if you had to pinpoint one reason, I bet none of you could. I bet. It's the same question when you ask why is there a brony fandom? Why do teenager through whatever it is 40-year-old adult males like this show? There's not a definitive answer. It's such a it's so many different answers that go into making something click and be magical, and you couldn't pinpoint it if you absolutely had to, which is maybe why it's so magical.
So, Twilightlicious. How did that come about?
Oh my God, I love it so much. Twitter and we've had a fun run. Okay, this is how it started. I never went on Twitter, and I was just Facebook. And of course, there's a limit of 5,000. And I was on set at Big Time Rush, and Kendall Schmidt said to me, "You don't Twitter?" And I said, "No, I don't really get it." And he said, watch this. And he said, at Kendall Schmidt hanging on the set of Big Time Rush with at Tara Strong. And within 1 minute, it jumped from 100 followers to 500 followers. And I went, oh, that's Twitter. And like, just realizing how like instant the response is and the reaction is, and how you can reach so many people and sort of enjoy the fandom. Because prior to the internet, voiceover performers never really knew how fans felt about them. And now with the internet, people can search, oh, who does the voice of this? Oh, it's that person. And then prior to Twitter and Facebook, we still didn't know, the sometimes you're sitting in a studio that you say, gosh, I hope people like this. And then Twitter's like, yes, we do. We like it. It's sort of an instant gratification. And, for me, not so instant because I've been in this business for 25 years. So it's so nice to be able to reach out and talk to people and say, you've made my childhood, or you got me through a really hard time, or I wouldn't have survived this without listening to Bubbles do that, or whatever it is. And it's been so rewarding. And for me, I think that when I saw like other celebrities go, this is me in a bikini, or this is me in a bathing suit, or this is me naked, I was like, okay, that's too much fun. I'm going to have to join in on that. And I think one of the first ones was like, me naked, or me in a pool and it was Timmy Turner, or me in a diaper and it's Baby Dill. And of course, anything Twilight goes, bazonkers. But it's so much fun because people are like, oh, what's she gonna do now? And then they said, oh, you're a troll. And I said, what's a troll? And they said, people that mess with people on the internet for a reaction, but you're funny, we like it. And I said, then you have to call me something cuter. And then someone came up with twole, and I'm like, I like that. And I think the same as Twilight, my stuff on Twitter's been as organic and fun as anything else. And truthfully, I don't know how people are going to respond to things, but I feel like I am one with the fan base and understand everyone so much that it just does, and it's just funny and it comes out. And Twilight Licious is just one of those things where I was like, this will be funny.
T to the WILAGHT, and ain't no other pony troll it down like me. I'm Twilight Licious.
And then kaboom. I was like, oh my gosh. And at the autograph signing in Melrose, this little girl came over to me and she's like, hello, Miss Strong. I'm Twilight Licious. And I looked at her dad and I said, are you allowing this child on Twitter? And she said, oh no, ma'am. It's a worldwide phenomenon. I was like, oh my gosh. And you know what? If it makes people feel good and it makes people laugh, I'm so happy that I did it because it's so much fun. And now, of course, it's helping to raise money for my friend's daughter. And I really, really want to put this out there to the fandom because nobody but the fandom of the Bronies are helping this little girl. And Kiki, the story behind Kiki is her older sister is Melanie, who's friends with my son, Sam. They've been in school together since kindergarten. Kiki's real name is Tiffany, and Tiffany used to come over all the time whenever her dad would pick up Melanie from a play date. And this little girl was so hilarious. She loved my voices so much, and she would come in and I'd start chasing her and tickling her and doing funny voices for her. And this giggle is like just delicious. And she was just a hilarious, hilarious little girl. And her nickname was Kiki, and I would go, Kiki, get over here. And I'd tickle her and do whatever. And she was just such a funny little bug. And then one day she literally shut down. And it was because of the straight brain tumor. And right now she's not speaking or looking or moving at all. And the medical community gave up on her after a treatment. And they told her dad to sign her death certificate, and her dad refused. And then they started seeking alternative treatments to try to shrink the tumor so they could have a surgery, which, thank God, they're finally going to get to do this Friday.
Oh, that's great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
and
to hear that.
but by the way, they have no money. They've left work, left school. Melanie's been doing some homeschool and trying to keep it. I just had Melanie here a few weeks ago for her first play date in years. I should say in about a year, because she's been traveling with them to Sacramento and Mexico, and now they're in San Diego. And they've given up so much to, of course, as anyone would, save their baby. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to everyone. And once Taralicious launches, all of the swag stuff that I'm buying that say Twilight Licious, and also there's going to be contests for Ravenlicious and Bubblelicious logos and fun stuff like that. A huge percentage of that proceeds are going to go to her. And then on top of that, I'm going to have auction items where 100% of proceeds are going to go to her. And God willing, the surgery is going to go well on Friday, and she's going to need help for a long time. And then after that, I'd love to help out other charities. Butch Hartman has a wonderful charity where they make homes for people that don't have homes. And I don't know, it's sort of been a dream of mine to be able to participate and help people and give back to the community. And that's a huge, really long spiel way of saying thank you to the Bronies. Really, really thank you. They would not be here today without all of you. So that's my real moment, not twirling.
I remember when the charity first went up, and I'm really glad to hear that everything is going well and that she has a
Yes.
surgery scheduled.
And
It's
everybody
fantastic.
say some prayers for Friday. Friday at 7:30, she's going to remove the tumor. And then after that, they can do chemo and other things to get that little girl back to shape.
All right.
She's
Well,
on all of our minds, I'm sure.
yeah.
I know everyone's so supportive. And Ami is an Israeli guy who, it's funny because his English is so. And he'll write me these emails and thank me. And he called me, I put it on my Twitter the other day because he called me crying about how grateful he was for everyone. And then he said, "Do you want to talk to her?" And I said, "Sure." And he put the phone to her ear and I went,
Kiki, you get better right now. You get better right now. And
she's not talking or moving, but he started to cry and he said it's the first time in so long she smiled. So that made me really happy.
Oh.
And yeah, and he's like so grateful to everyone and he's been on Twitter thanking everyone. And it's just all like so bottom of his heart grateful. And I'm grateful and it's all good. It's fantastic.
You're gonna make me cry now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She. Oh man, interview over. Everybody go for the money.
Back your ponies.
Oh my
Sorry.
gosh. Wow.
I lost my train of thought.
sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. That's just fantastic. But yeah, I do always have people come up to me and be like, "So guess what Tara Strong did on Twitter this week?" And I'm just like, "Oh boy, let's find out. Let's see what's
Isn't it fun?
so much fun." And then, but I remember when I saw you at Emerald City Comic Con and you made
Yeah.
me sing Twilight Licious in front of all the other voice actors.
I like that.
Yeah, and
See,
then
but now when I ask, the entire room sings it. Did you see that clip of
I did.
4,000 bronies singing it?
yes, I saw that clip and I was.
What's more fun than that?
I just have this image of like all those other voice actors that were up there, and like if I ever see them again, I'm that guy that sang the pony song.
They're probably all like, "What is Tara doing?"
I think the majority of the internet is saying that.
But they're having fun, and that's all that matters.
Oh, it's great fun. It's so
It's
much
so
fun.
much fun.
So,
I mean,
like,
sometimes I'll do something and it makes me laugh. So I'm like, okay, let's see how many people RT this one. Because, like, just yesterday when I'm like, awesome rhymes with pony, that kind of made me laugh, right? And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, poo poo, nut butter, shut your face. And I just started laughing. I'm like, it's just so stupid and so silly. And to me, by the way, like, personally, if it's silly and doesn't really make sense and makes you laugh, I lose it. Like, to me, way funnier than anything dirty or too worked out or too long. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's so silly and it makes you go, what? That's my favorite type of funny.
So, how much do you interact with the fandom, like as far as keeping up with news? How many sites do you read? Which ones?
Like I said, first of all, just so, of course you all know this, but I'm really busy and working all the time. And then when I'm not working with my kids, but every chance I get, I'll see when someone mentions me. And if there's an article linked to it, I'll read it and watch it. And I try to see and read and listen to everything. And the stuff that I do listen to is always, fantastic and hilarious. And if it's not, I just don't listen to it. Like, there was something weird about wanting to lick my armpit the other day. I was like,
what?
It was on
What?
4chan. It was on 4chan. It's like, Tara Strong walks by to get her autograph. You have to lick her armpit. What do you do? And I'm like, what? A bunch of weirdos. People were like, lick that pit. I was like, okay.
You check
so
4chan.
I didn't mean to. It was just on a
Okay.
mention. If it's on a mention, I'll try to check it.
Good
But I like if it's bringing people together and it's making people happy, then I'm all for it and I like it. And if there's anything negative, I block it so I don't even have to see it. And some of the negative stuff is so shocking to me that I'm like, wow, you have no concept of karma or how I really believe if you negatively affect someone, it spirals back to you so badly. And some of these people are just really sad people, So when it's something positive and fun, I revel in it and have fun reading it as much as I can.
That's a good attitude to have, especially
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the internet era.
Yeah.
Negativity is just so easy to spew.
Mhm.
It is, and why? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I think it's because that people don't have a face and they think it's okay.
Yeah,
Is it-
you know,
Yeah.
it's like it makes them feel good to anonymously say, bad stuff about other people and
I
make
guess
themselves feel
so.
better about it.
I guess so.
And it's
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
sucks.
And it sucks. It
Does
does.
suck.
It's really
and
awful.
I was saying to my son because he read something about he goes look what this person wrote and he was laughing about like an anti-Bieber thing and I said, I know that sounds funny, but what if he heard about that and that hurt his feelings? Then it's not funny, is it? Because if you hurt, I don't care who it is, if they're trying to put something out there and they're not hurting anyone and you hurt them, it's just such bad karma and so not helping propel you further into your journey and getting things that you want and having a happy life. I mean, who knows if we get to come back here, and we certainly don't come back here as this being. So have fun and enjoy life, and you don't need to bash any community, especially if they're not hurting anyone. I always say to people, like, to me, it's so funny that anyone has anything negative to say about the Brony fandom. I mean, if you want to hate a community, and I like Howard Stern, but like those guys that like seeing naked women fart all over each other, like, what? Like to bash a community that just is about love and tolerance and singing, and I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. Anyway.
Right. So speaking as the fandom, so obviously we're kind of big. So as the fandom has grown, you've gotten a lot of attention. Do you find it more difficult to refrain from just telling spoilers all the time? Because I know that must be hard.
No, because I would get fired, and then what would happen to the fandom?
We petitioned to have you rehired. That's what.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, I don't get tempted. I mean, sometimes I'll read something in a script and go, "Oh my gosh, the fans are gonna love this." Like there is an episode coming up that everyone's gonna go bazonkers for that I'd love to tell you about, but I obviously can't. So
Oh.
it's not that it's tempting to because of the growing fandom. I mean, yeah, that's part of it because I know how much y'all will enjoy it, but well, maybe the answer is yes. It makes it harder because I know you guys would love it. So sometimes it's harder to not go, oh my gosh, remember what we just read there? No, I can't tell you. You'll have to wait.
You heard it here first, folks. Season 3 confirmed for having episodes.
And at least
I
one
like
of them
when
will
I
be
do.
good.
I like when I do spoilers and it's just like end scene on my Twitter. Spoiler alert! Twilight.
Those are so fun.
As we sit here waiting for signs of season 3, is there anything about it you can tease us with?
Yes, it's going to be fantastic and adorkable and fun and funny and get everybody talking and laughing and singing and happy. Uh-oh, don't tell the hub I told you.
All right.
Okay, we'll keep it on the down low. The only people that are going to know about it is the internet.
Okay, good. It's totally fine. Megan, I sent Megan a picture that someone sent me of us dancing, and she goes, "Oh, phew! At least that's not all over the internet." Oh, yep, it is all over the internet. You can't really delete anything either. I've noticed.
Oh no. Once it's on EQD, it's forever.
It's forever, which is fine.
So just a small follow-up. Is there anything happening, let's say within the next 6 months, you're just really waiting to see a reaction on? Doesn't have to be season 3.
Of course, I'm excited about the Teen Titans pickup.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that people react. You know, uh, I think people will be happy just because it's all of us in the room again together, and it's such a great cast. So that's very exciting. There's a new Ben 10 that's really fun where I get to work with the newer, Yuri Lowenthal, and they've sort of mixed both of our stuff, and it's really fun. I think it's probably the best Ben 10 run yet. And of course, I'm in a little movie called Ted. In case you didn't know, I'm the tummy. When you squeeze the tummy and it goes,
I love you.
that's me.
Oh god.
So that should be fun, and
Oh, yeah.
a little bit of Lollipop Chainsaw and some Harley stuff, and I
Yeah.
do love that Chainsaw Girl. But just to keep watching for Terralicious, because I'm gonna have really fun contests, and just I want it to be a website where people can go and just share and love and be silly and have fun, and also a place for, like I said before, people who can't necessarily afford to get to a con, but maybe really, I keep hearing people really like those slap bracelets, and they're like, I want one. So we're going to be able to ship to anywhere in the world, and anything that gets purchased on the site comes with a free autograph. So typically in lines, the voucher entitles you to 1 autograph. So on the Taralicious site, if you're getting something, I will autograph it before I send it. And I do all my own stuff. You can go ask the UPS store in Toluca Lake if you want. They love standing there watching me sign everything. So, that once that launches, I think I'd love you guys to be involved in that, and we'll probably do some contests together and stuff. I think that's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
we'll plug the hell
Oh,
out of it, man.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you don't slap me with a bracelet at Everfree Northwest, I'm gonna be very
Yeah,
disappointed.
I will be very
Okay, this
upset.
is what I do want to say, okay? Because it seems to be now a current trend in cons that you buy a voucher first. So if you are buying a voucher and you're bringing me something to sign, that's fine. If you don't have a voucher and you want to buy something that's supporting Kiki's Fund, that doesn't have to be through a voucher, and it comes with a free autograph. So some people think, oh, I've already had my voucher, so if I buy that, I can't get an autograph. Every item for Kiki's Fund comes with a free autograph, FYI, just so you know.
So that's a really good incentive for you guys. Throw money at them.
Yes.
Yes, everybody buy all the Terra Strong merchandise.
All of it.
Every
All of it.
Well, it was just a little unclear, like at BronyCon, because people thought, oh, if I buy that, then I can't get it signed because they've already used their voucher on whatever poster they brought me, and that's not true. Anything, like I said, comes with a signature. Just FYI.
All right, cool, awesome. So I think we're at the end. So here we're just gonna wrap up real quick. One last question:
Are
Is
you gonna
there,
winter wrap?
if
Okay.
I could sing to save my life? Yes.
Yes.
So, right, you have an open floor, basically. Is there anything you want to say to anyone listening? And I guarantee there will be people listening. Anything at all.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I don't even know what you're gonna do, but I'm ready.
I love you.
Oh,
Oh.
I love all of you. I swear, it's true.
we love you too.
You heard it here first, folks.
All right, I can't think of a better note to end on. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Miss Strong, for being here with us on such short notice. Thank you for
Thanks for having me.
making us laugh and almost cry, and
Yeah.
thank you so much. And for everyone listening, this has been Equestria Daily Serial Velocity and PK and Tara Strong, of course. Hope you're all having a wonderful day and continue to do so. Have a nice one.